The Definitions of Economics, Part 3. In this video, we learn about two definitions, the scarcity and the growth-oriented ones. The first, scarcity definition by Lionel Robbins. A neoclassical economist himself, Robbins had criticized Marshall's definition as one that lacked analytical clarity. According to him, economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. He was possibly one of the first who stressed on the problems of scarcity and subsequently choice. Robbins referred to the multiplicity of ends. By ends, he meant human wants, which are unlimited. And since all of them cannot be satisfied, humans need to prioritize which to fulfill first and which to defer. He also referred to scarcity of means. Scarcity is a relative concept. Anything will be considered scarce if its demand is greater than that of its supply. And by means, he meant the material and the non-material goods and services. So if we had abundant resources, we wouldn't have economic problems because all our wants could have been fulfilled. But they are scarce and they can be put to alternative uses. This leads to economizing of resources that will require one to make a choice of how and in which line to use the resources. Robbins' definition certainly had advantages over the previous two definitions. The scarcity definition is considered more scientific as compared to Marshall's. It has a wider scope as it studied any behavior that is connected with the scarcity problems. This definition is considered universal as it pertains to all individual, group, or society. It is common everywhere. It is not just giving a clear view of human behavior, it was also logical as it explained the economic problems. But then again, it was considered too wide as it considered all activities not just of social beings but also that of non-social beings. Robbins considered neutrality between ends, but that left economics as mere a value theory. The neutrality also led it to be less realistic. It was also argued that it did not apply to the rich countries who had plentiful resources. It also did not apply to socialistic countries, as it is the government who provides the basic necessities to the people. It was static because ends and means both could change. Now, some economists also felt that economies did not always face problems due to scarcity, like that of the Great Depression in America during the 1930s, which was more due to abundance of goods rather than shortage. The last definition that we cover was propounded by a neo-Keynesian economist, Professor Paul Samuelson. He took a dynamic approach to the study when he considered economic growth as an integral part of the subject. He said, economics is the study of how people and society end up choosing, with or without the use of money, to employ scarce productive resources that could have alternative uses to produce various commodities over time and distributing them for consumption now or in the future among various persons and groups in society. It analyzes costs and benefits of improving patterns of resource allocation. This definition deals with economic resources, whether they are natural, human, or physical. Samuelson's definition, like Robbins's, considered the scarce resources with alternative uses. This led to the problem of choice. So resources needed to be efficiently allocated to achieve maximum welfare. Efficient allocation would also lead to fuller utilization of resources. Again, fuller utilization would mean higher production. This helps in growth, employment, and higher standard of living. This definition is credited with bringing realism to it as it considers efficiency in allocating resources which are scarce, which could bring in economic growth. Samuelson said that economics is the oldest among arts and newest among the group of science. Some even refer to it as the queen of social science. It's wider in scope as it not only brings in the wealth but also the scarcity point of view. As such, it brings both these concepts together. By suggesting measures to solve economic problems, it becomes more practical in approach. This definition is also considered dynamic since it doesn't just think of production, consumption, and distribution of today, but also as a future problem.